Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting granular. We're looking at something quite specific, a piece of industrial gear, but hoping to pull out some bigger ideas, about reliability, safety,
Mm,
performance when things get serious.
absolutely. We've been digging into material all about one particular item, the Chester Zephyr 4 tons, 8-foot hook-type hand chain hoist.
Right. And the mission today really is to take all that detailed info and sort of boil it down. What are the key insights? Why does this hoist matter so much in certain jobs?
And what's the real value hidden under all the technical specs?
Exactly. Because we're talking about lifting heavy stuff in tough places. It's
Right.
not just mechanics. It's about trust. Environments where cutting corners isn't just a bad idea, it's potentially dangerous.
So, yeah, failure is really not an option in these contexts.
Let's unpack it then. The source material presents this hoist, the Chester Zephyr 4-ton, 8-foot model. It's not just a name, is it? They call it industrial muscle.
A stalwart brute, yeah.
Yeah.
For jobs needing raw muscle without compromise. That's the language they use.
And the core specs jump out pretty quickly. 4 tons capacity, 8-foot lift height.
And the type, hook type, specifically hook suspended. And we should mention, all this info, it's framed through peenergy.com, presented as a source for this kind of kit.
Okay. But what struck me is how quickly the focus moves from what it is to how it's actually made. It's not just about meeting standards.
No, the emphasis is definitely on exceeding them, which leads straight into the construction.
Ah, the steel-framed engineering. They use this phrase, bulletproof performance. What does that actually mean in terms of the build?
Well, it centers on its construction, a steel-framed hook suspended design. And the key is the material, ultra-high-strength steel.
So like a really robust skeleton.
Exactly. A rigid frame that's specifically built to handle the rough and tumble of industrial sites. Think extreme temperatures, grease, grime, impacts.
The daily abuse, basically.
Yeah, it's designed to just shrug that stuff off.
And they call this serious insurance. Why that specific term? What's the risk it insures against?
I think it's insurance against catastrophic failure in places where safety margins are already thin and where downtime isn't just lost time, it's huge money.
Right, potentially massive costs. So that tough frame is about preventing failure when it matters most.
Definitely. And that robustness, that steel foundation, it ties directly into the next big claim, reliability.
Reliability you can build on, they say, and they point to its track record.
Yeah, proven performance, apparently, in really demanding sectors. Oil fields, busy manufacturing lines, heavy utility work, the tough gigs.
There's even a quote mentioned something procurement managers say.
Uh-huh. If it's Zephyr, it's done right.
Yeah.
That suggests a certain reputation, built over time from consistent results.
Okay, so it's strong, it's reliable, but what about versatility? That 8-foot lift height seems practical. Where does that typically come into play?
Well, that 8 feet gives you good working range for common tasks. Think loading docks, getting things positioned in maintenance bays, rigging jobs.
Heavy manufacturing plant installs.
Exactly. It's a kind of sweet spot for a lot of industrial lifting scenarios.
And the hook suspended part adds another layer of flexibility, right? You're not fixed in place.
Precisely. That's key. You can hang it wherever you need it. A beam, a gantry crane, an I-beam.
Yeah.
You put on a trolley system. You adapt the hoist to the job.
Which must be crucial for, say, big projects that change as they go.
Absolutely. Think about refinery turnarounds, substation overhauls, complex plant installations where the lifting needs shift. That adaptability is gold.
And they mention other options too, like twin hooks.
Yeah, the Zephyr twin hook hoist for handling 2 points simultaneously or spanning wider gaps. They even mention custom setups, hooks up to 16 feet apart potentially.
Yeah.
So versatility is a big theme.
Okay, built like a tank, reliable, adaptable. But what about the person actually using it? The material seems to focus quite a bit on the operator.
It does. It talks about precision and simplicity in the palm of the crew's hand.
How does the design achieve that?
It points to things like rugged, oversized hand wheels and chains. The idea is to reduce operator fatigue,
Because fatigue is a safety risk in itself when you're handling heavy loads.
a major one. So smoother operation, less physical strain. It means better control over every lift.
And that translates into real benefits, not just comfort.
Oh yeah, better control means it's probably easier to train people on, fewer errors because they're not wrestling with the gear, and ultimately it means greater safety for everyone on the floor.
It sounds like they're trying to engineer safety into the tool.
That's the message. They stress that operator safety and ergonomics were designed in first and last. They even highlight an extended handwheel version.
What's the purpose of that?
It lets the operator stand further back, maybe working over a tank or in a hazardous zone or just needing more reach. It's a specific safety feature for certain situations.
That's an interesting detail. Okay, shifting gears slightly. Hoist failure. In these settings, that's a huge problem, right? Downtime can stop everything.
Catastrophic, yeah. And that's where the support aspect comes in, as described in the material. The PE Energy connection gives access to Chester Hoist's support network.
Is that just about getting spare parts?
It seems to be more. Yes, fast shipping spares, which is critical,
Whoops.
but also technical support, troubleshooting guides, compliance documents, the whole package.
Support when seconds matter, I think was the phrase used.
Exactly. It's all geared towards minimizing that costly downtime.
Now, this specific 4-ton, 8-foot hoist, it's part of a bigger family, isn't it?
Yes, the material makes that clear. Custom lifts are possible. Then there are specific types mentioned, like low headroom trolleys.
For tight spaces, presumably, limited vertical clearance.
Right, maximizing lift height when you don't have much room. And swill truck low headroom versions for more maneuverability in those tight spots.
Any others?
They also mention an Army-type hand-geared trolley hand chain hoist, another robust, versatile option. The point seems to be that PE Energy provides access to the whole Chester range.
It shows a consistent approach across different designs for different needs. Now, the material really argues against cutting corners, the cost of compromise. Why are generic hoists seen as such a risk?
It paints a grim picture, really. Mentions dropped loads, obviously the worst outcome. Hoists seizing up, waiting ages for parts when they inevitably break.
And the impact of that downtime isn't trivial.
Far from it. It hits your KPIs, blows your budgets, could lead to insurance claims. It's the hidden cost of going cheap.
So the Zephyr, in contrast, is presented as having a steel-clad ROI. How does that work?
The argument is lower total cost of ownership. Yes, maybe the initial price is different, but fewer failures, less downtime, and readily available support mean it costs less over its life.
They had that comparison, gambling a big shipment on a bargain hoist.
Yeah, like risking a $100,000 shipment or critical infrastructure on a $2,000 bargain hoist.
Yeah.
It reframes it as an investment in keeping things running safely, not just buying a tool.
That definitely puts it in perspective. And they back up the toughness claims by listing where these things are actually used.
Right. Really demanding places. Alaska's oil fields, Gulf Coast refineries, steel mills, utilities, high-voltage switch yards. These are not gentle environments.
And it's not just that they exist there, but that they're built for it. Built and tested to exceed demanding specifications.
Yeah, and they mentioned specific features, like corrosion-resistant finishes, which you'd need in refineries, for example, and heavy-duty, beefy gearing for constant use.
Does that over-engineering have other benefits, like with inspections?
Apparently, yes. Fewer inspection headaches. If your gear is certified, compliant, and proven to exceed standards, audits tend to go smoother. The paperwork and the equipment itself back it up.
Okay, and finally, the role of PEEnergy.com in this picture. It's presented as more than just a seller.
Right. They use the term turnkey industrial hoist partner. So it implies offering more value add.
Like what specifically?
Expert consultation, helping choose the right hoist and rigging for a specific job, not just any hoist. Volume pricing for industrial scale buyers. And importantly, providing all the necessary compliance documents, spec sheets for OSHA, API, safety audits.
The whole package needed for these regulated industries.
Exactly. Plus, emphasizing wholesale reach, but with local service, implying quick access and support. It's positioned as helping solve complex rigging problems collaboratively.
So wrapping up this deep dive on the Chester Zephyr, based on the source material, it's presented as this seriously engineered solution. Ultra-high-strength steel, focus on reliability, safety, for places where you just can't compromise.
Yeah, and the design considers the operator, offers versatility, and crucially, it's backed by a support system designed to minimize downtime.
The value proposition isn't just lifting X tons. It's about avoiding the massive costs, time, money, safety risks of equipment that isn't up to the job.
It's an investment in keeping critical operations going smoothly and safely.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? When you look this closely at the engineering and support for just one tool, like this hand chain hoist,
Yeah.
what does that tell us about what reliability and partnership truly mean in these high-stakes industrial settings? Something to consider, for sure.